You have something special. You have greatness in you. I have a special guest today, Rex Steven Sikes. And Rex is an author. He has a book that I love very much, Life on Your Terms. And he's a person that has been giving people the keys of what they need to do to bridge the adversities in their lives, to turn it to their advantage. And in this new landscape where we are, we realize that this requires new skills, a new mindset, and strategies that can give us breakthroughs in every dimension of our lives, personally, professionally, spiritually. Rex, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, my friend, Mr. Les Brown. Thank you. I'm excellent, and it's a privilege and an honor and a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, I feel the same way about you. And I want you to know that this book that you have written, ladies and gentlemen, every chapter is designed to expand your vision of yourself, to give you the tools, things that you can sink your teeth in that will allow you to make decisions that will create the next greatest version of yourself. Rex, when did you get the inspiration to write this book?
Well, it's been a book in the writing all of my life. It's been part of my journey. I wanted to write it many different times, but didn't feel complete. I was waiting until I could get it all perfect, and then I realized one day that I it didn't need to be perfect. It just needed to be out there. And in writing it, I think it became quite perfect. So
Uh,
it was actually starting it that made the difference. I wrote it a few years back and published it in 2020 or 2021. So it's
mhm.
a new book.
When you think about your life, do you have moments you look back on your life that you were not living a life on your terms, that you were living a life that had been given you, the life that you've been presented with? Tell me about that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, I tell people, and it's in the book, but from about the time I was 6 years old, I wanted to be a mystic. I had been raised Catholic, and I thought that the priest had some mystical connection with the Creator. And I asked my mom if she would start reading me, books like the Bhagavad Gita and different Western and Eastern books that we had in the house, Think and Grow Rich, and everything else. I also wanted to be an actor, so I had
Mhm.
these two passions. One was to be out there and entertaining, and the other was to have this inner journey. Um, but during my childhood, I think that I looked for acting and the idea of mysticism because I just somehow felt incomplete. I felt there was a hole in me. I knew there was something bigger or greater or purposeful, but I didn't know how to connect with that. And so my early childhood was, basic middle class. Everything was okay. Nothing traumatic. No family abuse or anything like that. Um, that all happened later. But when I entered my late teens, then and the career wasn't going the way I wanted it to go, and things like that. I found myself just very angry and very frustrated and very confused with what was happening and very hollow. And I kept trying to fill my life with things or fame or money or power, and it just was not happening.
Yeah. Henry David Thoreau has said that most men and women go through life in quiet desperation. But
So
there
that
came a moment, there was something that happened. There was a turning point. There was a moment that was a defining moment where you came to yourself. You
oh yeah,
connect
yeah.
to the real
Well,
you.
I
What
had
was that moment? What happened? Was it gradual, or was there something, experience or an event that brought you to this level of awakening?
kind of funny because it's all of those. The gradual part led to the frustration or the quiet desperation. Ultimately, what happened was I went skydiving and I was injured, and I went to a Beverly Hill doctor who prescribed what should have turned out to be a fatal combination of prescribed medicine.
Hmm.
And instead, I ended up nearly comatose, but I was I don't know what I did. I mean, I lost my memory for a significant amount of time. I ended up on other drugs and medications, and my parents, who were traveling, came to visit, found me nearly comatose, and took the medications away, the pills away, and everything, and I went cold turkey. I then jumped out of a window trying to kill myself, and then sought therapy. You know, I went to therapists, I went to group counseling, I went
The
everywhere.
medication did that to you. It warped your thinking. The medication that you were on.
The medication, I mean, I took the medication in the doctor's office. I said, "Can I take these here?" That's the last thing I remember for a significant amount of time.
Wow.
My sister said that I went to pick her up in my car in Hollywood, and she said, "You were a completely different person. You were all over the road." The fact that I didn't kill anyone or myself or harm anybody in this is, I would say, there's somebody looking
Grace
out
of
for me.
God's grace and mercy. Absolutely.
But then when I came to and I couldn't get any answers, I decided to lock myself in my apartment. And I vowed I wouldn't go out again until I could go out and face the world and get my career back, my friends back, my life back, a sense of self, and discover who I was. So I sat in my reclining chair 12, 15, 17 hours a day. I did get up to go to the bathroom. I did go, have some food. But for more than 6 weeks, I sat in this chair and I visualized and I imagined and here's what happened, Les. I started up by going, why did this happen to me? Why does my life suck? How come everything is going wrong? What the heck is happening to me?
Mm-hmm.
And about 3 weeks into it, with all the visualization and all the meditation in my background and all the hypnosis that had been in my background, I suddenly discovered that I didn't want to know the answer to those questions.
Why?
I wanted to know how I could be better, not why I was broken. I wanted to know how quickly I could get better, not how long it would take. I wanted to discover what was good about me and how I could move forward and not worry about all the crap that had gone before. And I started to ask different questions. I started to say things like, how soon can I go out and be confident and face the world? How quickly can I discover my talents and abilities that move me forward? And this is where I called it back in 1980, I called it directed questions, because I realized that questions direct our mind, and the kind of questions or statements that we make about ourselves determine the kind of life that we live. So instead of saying, why am I broken? I'd say, why am I, talented, or why am I abundant, or why am I able to do things that I never thought before? And a lot of people have since that time, because I put it in my programs, I started teaching this stuff back then.
Mm-hmm.
Since that time, a lot of people have started asking, I didn't invent questions, obviously, but a lot of people have been asking those questions and asking like why questions, which is a good question, but there's more to it than that. You want to live from the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You want to take that desired state that you hope to have in the future and make it your present state. So it's really about, it's kind of like, if I said this, for example, and I hope you appreciate this as much as I do, because I've done it for 40 years. But if I said, do you know how delighted you would be if you buy my pen? What most people think I'm asking for is do you want to buy my pen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really asking a different question. I'm saying, do you know how delighted you would be when you buy my pen?
Mm.
So it's directing the mind toward delight, toward the feeling that you have, not so much the question. It's assumed that the sale will happen. And this is where my work started, where I started to make the most change and be able to help the most people, was to assume what you wanted to be and then ask the questions that got you there. Make the statements that got you there. Feel it first and then travel that way. And so my life began to change. And when I emerged from my apartment 6 weeks or so later, I didn't emerge like Superman necessarily, more like a toddler that was learning to run from having learned to walk and from having learned to crawl. But it was that defining moment where I went, you know what? I'm asking all the wrong questions. I need to ask something different. And in that moment, everything transformed.
It's been said that life is a question, and how we live our lives is the answer.
Oh, I love that, because so many people are looking for answers, but they aren't asking the right questions.
What can people expect to get out of your book when you think about the top main things? And let's zero in on 3 things. First, where can they get your book?
They could get it from Amazon. It's on Amazon. It looks like this. I mean, if they haven't seen it, it's Life. I can't figure it.
Yeah, I can see it. Life on your terms. Okay, got it.
Create the life you want. What can they expect to get? They can expect to get easy, simple, fun, step-by-step principles and practices they can apply that will help them transform their lives. And if they do it, they absolutely will transform.
Hmm.
So they can move from scarcity to abundance, from insecurity to security. They can live the life, because it's about living the way you want to live and to create the kind of life that you want to create. And if I can do that, anybody can do that.
I remember seeing the movie. I don't know if you saw it, The Truman Story. Did you see that movie?
Oh yes, yes, of course.
Yeah. And what was the guy that starred in that?
Was that Jim Carrey?
Yeah, Jim Carrey. And when he discovered that everybody was performing but him, his life was real, and he wanted to escape. And the guy who set that up, when someone asked the question, do you think he's going to escape? Is he going to leave? And he said, no. And the person who asked that question said, why? And he said, because most people accept the life that they have been given. And it's not even about their terms. It's about making a decision that I want to live my life and not live somebody else's life. And that's a level of awareness and insight that you made that brought you to yourself to create this book that's going to help millions of people around the planet. That's exciting. What do you do full time?
I teach and I train. I do workshops. I'm a speaker and an author. I have a company called Idea Seminars, and the web address is right there. We changed it from Idea Seminars to my name, but it's right there. And I've been doing online and live events for over 42 years.
Oh man, I got you by 10. I've been doing it for 52 years. I got t-shirts older than you.
Yeah, well, and you are the master. I mean, you are just one of a kind. And if anyone has demonstrated what one can transform from and into and to, it is you, sir. So that's why I'm honored to be here. Being able to talk about my book, and with all the things that you've accomplished in your lifetime, it's truly an honor and a privilege.
Well, I feel an honor to talk with you. So if people like to get in touch with you about speaking for their organization, and
Oh yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, if you want a speaker that can provide not only information, but he has a sense of humor and he has some experiences. He's gone through some stuff. So he knows a thing or two because he's seen a thing or two. And what he's done, he's used this story to help people to transform their lives. And when he speaks, when you bring him in for your club, for your organization, for your corporation, what he does, it's entertaining, it's engaging, it's insightful, and it's inspiring. When he speaks, he creates an experience. Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. So when Rex comes in, everybody will be on the edge of their seats, and he will give you something of value that you can begin to look at your life with brand new eyes. What is it that you'd like to do this year that's a major goal that you envision for yourself, Rex?
Well, I'd like to be doing live events again, and speaking on platforms again.
Me
COVID.
too. I want to come out the house too. I've been talking to frogs and I've been talking to squirrels. I have a squirrel friend named Tyrone. So now that Mickey Mouse is under attack, me and Tyrone want to come out the closet.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, indeed, I had a 100-acre retreat center, and people fly in from all around the world for over a decade, and I closed that to then do more speaking engagements in the corporate arena and around the fly-ins and fly-outs and that kind of thing. But I kind of stopped training also so that I could raise my children. The blessing that I've had in my life was that I was able to be a stay-at-home dad and still do what I like to do and love to do. And then when COVID hit, it didn't change my life much, other than the fact that I wasn't going out. I mean, we weren't doing the live events and weren't eating in restaurants. I haven't been to a movie theater in 3 years or whatever it's been. So I would love to go back and do retreats and resorts and cruises and live stages and have trainings where people come in from all over and we all get together. and just have a marvelous time transforming. Because and I don't know you know this, but what I really love about a training event is that I get to be surrounded by participants who have talents and abilities and insights and lives that I could never know or live. So the richest person in the room is really me. They come to learn from me, but I get to learn from all of them while they're there. So I'm surrounded by people who are talented. Some don't realize how talented or resourceful they are, and some think
Yes.
they're broken and that they need a major fix, in terms of a life transformation. But it's a beautiful thing to be surrounded with people who want to transform themselves and move forward in the world.
I tell people all the time, you don't know enough about yourself to be a cynic. You have greatness in you. Rex, you're a planet, you are a blessing to the planet. And this book is going to impact a lot of people's lives. And I'm glad that I can call you my friend. And I'm
Likewise.
looking forward to us sharing the stage together, not virtually, but in person. I ain't scared of you. Bring it on, my brother.
I'm, look, I'm looking forward to it. And, we do have another virtual event coming up. You're going to be back on my show in June. So maybe between now and then we could do a live event, but if not, certainly after that. But I can't wait I love spending time with you.
Yes, me too. Okay, it's Rex Sikes. You see it there on the screen.com.
Yes.
Go there, and that's where you can get the book. And also, they can get information on how they can book you as a speaker or a trainer. All right? Am I correct?
Absolutely, you are correct.
I appreciate you very much. Thank you, my brother. God bless the day you were born.
And you. Much love, peace, and blessings.
Yes. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Beautiful.
Thank you.